They thought they could throw her out like yesterday's trash, just because she had wrinkles. They laughed when they handed her the pink slip, telling her that at 55, she belonged in a rocking chair, not an office. But exactly 7 days later, those same corporate bullies were forced to stand up and bow when she walked into the boardroom, because she wasn't just coming back for her desk. She was coming back as the owner of the entire company. If you want to see how one brave woman turned the biggest humiliation of her life into the ultimate corporate revenge story, make sure you watch this video until the very end. Before we begin, please hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring story like this one. And do me a quick favor. Drop a comment below and tell me exactly which city or country you are watching from today. I love reading where our amazing community lives. Now, let's look at how it all started. The morning air in Chicago was biting cold. Clara Benson stood outside the towering glass skyscraper of Nexus Enterprises. She held a cheap paper cup of coffee. Her hands were shaking slightly. She was 55 years old and incredibly nervous. Clara had a soft face, elegant silver hair, and a neatly ironed navy blue suit. She bought the suit at a thrift store. For 25 years, Clara's life belonged to her family. She raised 3 children and cared for her sick husband. When he passed away, Clara was left with a broken heart and a mountain of medical debt. She did not give up. Instead, she chose to fight. She went back to college at 52. She sat in lecture halls with students young enough to be her grandchildren. She studied late into the night. She learned about digital marketing and corporate finance. She graduated at the top of her class. Now, she had an internship at Nexus Enterprises. It was one of the biggest marketing firms in the country. To the world, an intern at 55 looked strange. To Clara, it was a fresh start. She walked through the spinning glass doors. The lobby was grand, with clean marble floors. Young people rushed around with expensive laptops. Clara walked up to the reception desk. A young woman was typing fast on a computer. "Good morning," Clara said with a warm smile. "My name is Clara Benson. I am the new corporate strategy intern." The receptionist stopped typing. She looked at Clara from head to toe. She looked confused and amused. "An intern?" the receptionist asked with a smirk. "Are you sure you aren't looking for the cleaning department?" Clara's face turned red, but she kept her voice calm. "No, dear. I am the new intern. Here is my letter." The receptionist took the paper and sighed. She pressed a button on her phone. "Hey, Dominic. Your new intern is here. The older one. You should come down." A few minutes later, a young man walked into the lobby. He was in his late 20s and wore a very expensive suit. His hair was slicked back, and he looked very arrogant. This was Dominic Cross, the senior marketing director. He was Clara's new boss. Dominic looked at Clara and frowned. He did not offer to shake her hand. "Follow me," Dominic said, turning around. "We are busy, and I don't have time to hold your hand." Clara walked fast to keep up with him. In the elevator, Dominic looked down at her. "Look, Clara," Dominic said. "Nexus is a fast-paced place. We need fresh blood and creative minds. Do you even know how to use a smartphone?" Clara felt hurt, but she nodded. "Yes, Mr. Cross. I graduated with honors. I can handle the work." Dominic just laughed. They reached the 15th floor. It was a huge, open room full of young workers. As Clara walked by, people started whispering. "Is that someone's grandma?" A young man laughed. Dominic led Clara to a small, dark desk in the very back corner. It was right next to the noisy photocopy machine. The desk had nothing on it except an old, dusty computer. "This is your spot," Dominic said carelessly. "Your job is simple. Organize the old paper files from the past 10 years, scan them into the system, and get coffee for the creative team. Don't touch anything else." Clara looked at the heavy boxes of dusty files. This was manual labor, not marketing strategy. Dominic wanted her to quit, but Clara was strong. "I will get to work right away," she said firmly. For the next 4 days, Clara worked nonstop. The other interns gossiped by the water cooler, but Clara was at her desk by 7 a.m. She sorted thousands of papers and fixed many mistakes. She brought coffee to the young executives with a smile. She ignored their mean remarks. She also listened to their marketing ideas. She noticed their ideas were shallow. They only cared about internet trends, not real customers. Clara knew how to help them, but she kept quiet and waited. On Friday morning, the office was in a panic. Nexus was about to lose its biggest client. The client was a century-old clothing brand called Oak and Iron. Their sales were falling, and they needed a major advertising plan. The owner of Oak and Iron was Garrick Thorne. He was a strict, powerful man. He sat in the main conference room. Dominic and his team had been pitching ideas for an hour, but Garrick hated all of them. Through the glass wall, Clara saw Dominic sweating. She was standing nearby, holding a tray of hot coffee for the meeting. "This is garbage." Garrick's voice boomed through the door. "You are showing me teenage internet dances. Our customers are traditional people who want quality. You don't understand our history." Dominic looked terrified. "Mr. Thorne, we just want to attract younger people. Young people don't buy expensive winter coats." Garrick shouted, hitting the table. "If you don't give me a real plan in 5 minutes, I am leaving. I will take my $10 million account to your rival." Dominic ran out of the room, looking pale. He saw Clara with the coffee. "Give me that," he snapped, grabbing the tray. He was shaking so hard that the tray tipped. Hot coffee spilled all over Dominic's white shirt. "Look what you did, you clumsy old fool." Dominic LSM screamed. The entire office went silent. Everyone stared. "I am so sorry, Mr. Cross," Clara said, reaching for a tissue. "Let me help." "Get away from me," Dominic yelled, his face red with rage. "You are useless. You don't belong here. You are just too old, Clara. Your brain is too slow. You are fired. Pack your things and get out right now." The words cut through the room. Too old. It was illegal to say, but Dominic was too angry to care. Clara stood still. She felt the heavy humiliation. The young workers just stared or looked away. Nobody stood up for her. Clara took a deep breath. She did not cry, and she did not yell. She held her head high and looked Dominic in the eye. "Very well, Mr. Cross," Clara said calmly. "I will leave. But remember this moment. The world is smaller than you think." She walked to her desk, picked up her purse, and left the building. Clara did not go home to cry. She took a taxi to an expensive neighborhood. She stopped in front of a beautiful, historic brick house. She used her own key and walked inside. The home was filled with beautiful art and costly furniture. Clara went upstairs to a large bedroom. She opened her closet. She bypassed the cheap thrift store suits and looked at a row of designer clothes. There was a massive secret that nobody at Nexus knew. Clara was not poor. Her late husband had been a very wealthy investor. Together, they had invested in major businesses. Clara was a brilliant businesswoman who managed a massive family trust. She did not need the money from an internship. She had taken the job using her maiden name because she wanted to see how the company worked from the inside. For 6 months, a mysterious investment group had been buying up stock in Nexus Enterprises. The company was failing because of bad management, so the stock price was very low. The board of directors wanted a savior. That mysterious investment group belonged entirely to Clara. She had endured a week of insults and carried coffee just to see if the managers were worth saving. Today, Dominic had given her the answer. Clara sat at her desk and opened her laptop. She called her corporate lawyer, Vincent. "Vincent," Clara said coldly. "It's me. Clara, how is the secret internship going?" Vincent asked. "It is over," Clara said. "They fired me today. The director told me I was too old and too slow." The phone went silent. Then Vincent spoke angrily. "They did what?" "Clara, that is illegal. We can sue them." "No," Clara smiled. "A lawsuit is too quiet. How many shares of Nexus do we own right now?" "We own 48%, Vincent said. "We are the largest shareholder, but we don't have total control yet." "Buy the rest immediately," Clara ordered. "Offer the other owners cash. I want total control of Nexus by Monday morning. Every single seat on the board." "Consider it done," Vincent said. "What are you going to do?" "I am going to attend the board meeting next Thursday," Clara said. "It is time to clean house." Back at the office, Things were terrible. Since Dominic fired Clara, he had completely lost the Oak and Iron account. Garrick Thorne walked out and took his millions with him. The CEO of Nexus was Philip Mercer. When he heard the news, he screamed at Dominic, "Do you know what you have done?" Philip yelled, "We are losing money. A mystery billionaire has been buying our stock, and you just lost our biggest client." Dominic was shaking. "Sir, it wasn't my fault. The client was impossible, and my intern made a huge mess and spilled hot coffee on me right before the meeting. It ruined my focus." Philip glared at him. "The older woman?" "Yes." Dominic lied. "She was terrible. She was slow and ruined team morale. I fired her for the good of the company." Philip sighed. "An intern doesn't matter. What matters is that next Thursday, the new owner is coming. They bought 52% of the company. They can fire all of us. We need this place to look perfect." Dominic saw a chance to look good. "Don't worry, sir. I will handle it. I will make the office look young and successful. When the new owner sees my work, they will promote me." "Just don't screw up, Dominic," Philip warned. For the next few days, Dominic acted like a dictator. He made employees work all night. He bought new furniture and hit any worker who did not look young and trendy. He prepared a flashy speech to impress the billionaire. He was completely sure he would win them over. Thursday morning came. The office was filled with tension. Security guards stood at the doors. The floors were perfectly clean. Every manager wore their best clothes, waiting in line in the lobby. Dominic stood right at the front next to the CEO. He had a smug smile on his face. Suddenly, 3 black luxury cars pulled up outside. Serious-looking security guards stepped out. One guard opened the door of a beautiful black Rolls-Royce. Everyone in the lobby held their breath. Dominic smiled, getting ready to shake hands. A woman stepped out of the car. She wore a stunning, custom-made gray suit. She had a beautiful pearl necklace, and her silver hair was styled perfectly. She looked incredibly powerful and graceful. Dominic's smile froze. His eyes went wide. The color left his face, and he looked like he was about to faint. "No," Dominic whispered. "No, that's impossible." The CEO looked at him. "What is wrong with you, Dominic?" The woman walked through the glass doors. Her high heels clicked loudly on the floor. Behind her walked Vincent, the famous lawyer, holding a briefcase. Clara Benson walked right up to the managers. She stopped in front of Dominic. She looked at him and smiled. "Good morning, Mr. Cross," Clara said smoothly. "Did you miss me?" Dominic opened his mouth, but no sound came out. His knees shook, and he had to lean against a wall. The CEO stepped forward, knowing nothing. "Welcome, ma'am. I am Philip, the CEO. We were waiting for the new owner." Vincent opened his briefcase and handed legal papers to Philip. "Mr. Mercer," Vincent said loudly, "this is Mrs. Clara Benson. She is the head of Benson Investments. She owns 52% of Nexus. She's your new boss and the chairman of the board." Everyone in the lobby gasped. The workers were shocked. The old intern they laughed at was now the owner of the entire company. "Please follow me to the boardroom, Mrs. Benson," Philip said with a shaking voice. He glared at Dominic, realizing what had happened. Clara nodded. "Lead the way, Philip." They walked into the grand conference room. This was the same room where Clara had been banned just a week ago. Now, she walked to the head of the table and sat in the large leather chair. Philip and Dominic sat at the far end, looking like scared children. Clara looked at the board members. "I spent the last week working here as a secret intern," she said. "I wanted to see how this company runs, and I am deeply disappointed." Philip swallowed hard. "Mrs. Benson, we are a modern company." "No," Clara interrupted. "You have created a cruel workplace. You mock experience, and you treat older workers like garbage. You care about internet trends, but ignore your loyal clients." Then, she looked directly at Dominic. Dominic looked terrified. "And then we have Mr. Cross," Clara said. "A man who thinks a nice suit makes him better than everyone. Tell me, Dominic, what did you say to me last Friday?" Dominic whispered, "Mrs. Benson, I was stressed the account was in danger." "You told me I was too old," Clara said firmly. "You said my brain was slow." You fired me because of my age. That is against the law. You thought I was weak because of my gray hair. Philip turned to Dominic in a rage. You fired the owner. You told her she was too old. I didn't know. Dominic cried, tears running down his face. I am so sorry. It was a mistake. Please don't ruin my career. Clara looked at him coldly. You aren't sorry for what you did, Dominic. Clara said. You are only sorry you got caught. If I were actually a poor widow who needed that job, you would have ruined my life without a second thought. You would have left me with no money and no dignity. She stood up, looking powerful. Dominic Cross, you are fired. Effective immediately. Security will take you out. You are banned from this property, and my lawyers will investigate you for discrimination. Dominic collapsed into his chair, crying. 2 large security guards grabbed his arms and dragged him out of the room. His expensive suit was wrinkled, and his career was over. The room was completely silent. The managers looked at Clara with respect and fear. Clara looked at the CEO. Philip, you are on probation. You let this cruel culture happen. If you want to keep your job, you will follow my orders. Understood? Yes, Mrs. Benson, Philip said quickly. Good, Clara said. First, bring back the internship program, but expand it. Create a program for older people who want to return to work. Wisdom will be celebrated here, not punished. Consider it done, Philip replied. Second, Clara said, call Garrick Thorne at Oak and Iron. Tell him the new owner of Nexus wants to have lunch today. Later, Clara met Garrick at a quiet restaurant. Garrick was surprised to see her. Mrs. Benson, Garrick said, shaking her hand. I hear you bought Nexus. I thought that place was run by arrogant children. Clara smiled. It was, Garrick, but things have changed. I know how to save your brand. Clara took a folder from her bag. It was a marketing plan she wrote late at night while working in the archives. It didn't have internet dances. It was a beautiful plan that focused on the history, quality, and tradition of Oak and Iron's clothing. Garrick read the papers, and his eyes lit up. He smiled for the first time in months. This is magnificent, Garrick said, hitting the table with joy. This is exactly what I wanted. It is smart and speaks to our real customers. How did your team write this so fast? Clara took a sip of her tea. They didn't. I wrote it myself while working in your archive boxes. Garrick laughed out loud, deeply impressed. Well, Mrs. Benson, we have a deal. Oak and Iron is staying with Nexus, and I am doubling our budget. In just a few months, Nexus Enterprises changed completely. Under Clara's leadership, profits broke records. The arrogant, toxic culture disappeared. The office became a place of respect. Young workers worked together with older professionals. Youthful energy and mature wisdom made Nexus the top firm in the country. Clara became a legend. She appeared on the covers of major business magazines. She was celebrated as a champion for older workers. She proved to the world that age is just a number and wisdom never goes out of style. As for Dominic Cross, his reputation was ruined. Word of his behavior spread everywhere. No good company would hire him. He went from being a wealthy director to working a low-paying job at a small retail shop, completely humbled. One evening, Clara stood by the large window of her top-floor office. She looked at the beautiful Chicago skyline. The sun was setting, painting the city in gold. She remembered her first day as an intern, the cold air, the mean whispers, and the humiliation. She smiled to herself, feeling deep peace. She had survived the storm and come out stronger. She didn't just defeat the people who hurt her. She lifted up thousands of others, just like her. Remember this, my friends. Never let anyone tell you your worth based on your age or appearance. The people who try to push you down are just stepping stones to your greatness. Keep your head high, keep fighting, and never give up. Thank you so much for watching this inspiring story today. If it touched your heart, please give this video a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends and family who need a reminder of their own strength. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and turn on that notification bell. We have so many more incredible stories for you. Stay strong, stay blessed, and I will see you in the next video.